Hey, what do penguins wear on their heads? Ice caps, of course. Okay, bad, I know. They might not be very impressed by me, but I'm seriously impressed by them. So it's almost breeding time here at Sea Life, and the king penguin has some serious parenting skills. In order to keep their eggs warm in the harsh southern environment, they put the eggs between their legs and then they tuck them up into this pouch under their fur called a brood pouch. Because catching dinner can be really hard in Antarctic conditions, parents will take turns cradling the egg and then hunting for food. They shuffle their precious cargo between every 6 to 8 days. Hey, Mandy.
Hi.
These penguins are really good parents, aren't they?
They sure are. So they only have 1 to 2 chicks every 3 years. These guys will incubate their eggs for around about 55 days under their brood pouch, whereas in the back here we have our Gen 2 penguins and they're a nest builder.
These penguins are really dedicated parents, aren't they, Mandy?
They sure are. It's very special to watch. So you can tell it's breeding season by the noise in the background. We have lovely backup singers. Sorry. So the king penguins have 1 to 2 chicks every 3 years.
So is there a penguin here now who you think might have an egg soon?
I can't determine that, it's up to them, but hopefully KT here, she has our first egg most seasons.
So it's like a competition?
She clearly wins.
So how do the parents feed their baby penguins?
Well, it's very impressive. The chick will actually signal their parent when they're hungry by chirping out, and then the parent does a massive regurgitation and gives them nice fresh fish to eat.
Gross. So they can't actually go catch their own fish until they shed their brown fluffy coats, can they?
No, they can't. They use that brown fluff to keep nice and warm. Once they mould out all these brown feathers, they'll get all the nice adult feathers like our adult kings here, and that's when they'll be waterproof and they can go start catching fish in their pool for themselves.
So after the chicks leave the brood pouch and they have their brown coats, they huddle together in like a nursery, don't they?
They sure do. They do that to keep warm, and they certainly get to know each other and become friends like our 4 chicks here.
So how would a parent recognize which chick is theirs if they're all huddled together in a big brown fluffy mess, you know?
After a while, it's kind of like looking at humans. They've all got their own individual characteristics and they all sound different as well. So one chick will call out to its parent and the parent knows exactly which chick that is.
All right, well thanks very much, Mandy.
Thank you.
Penguins are so cool. Hey, where do penguins go to the movies? The dive-in. No?
I've got my crystal ball, I have my magic wand, and my magic hat. So watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat, and... Bye! Where'd you go? Oh, sorry guys, I'm much better at maths than I am at magic. So how about today instead, I'll show you how to make a Mobius strip. While it may look like a paper bangle, it's actually a really cool mathematical optical illusion, and it's been fascinating mathematicians for centuries. To do this at home, all you need is glue, scissors, pen, and some paper. So you're going to need 1 long strip of paper, but for this I'm going to use 2 shorter strips and stick them together. This is just so we can make a really big Mobius strip, just like the one in front of me, otherwise a little bit too small to see. So let me put this to the side here. So we have our 2 strips, and I'm going to glue the ends and stick them together. Alright, so you can see we now have 1 super long strip of paper. And this is the magic bit. You're going to turn one of the ends over 180 degrees and then stick it back to the beginning. So now we have a Mobius strip. So you'll find an example of Mobius strips in real life. For example, conveyor belts, because it means you get the wear and tear on both sides evenly as opposed to just wearing out one side and not the other. A Mobius strip is special because it's a 2D shape with only one edge and one side. It's impossible to colour a different colour on each side. I'll show you with the pen. So I'm going to draw down the middle and I'm not going to lift my pen up paper the whole entire time. It's a little bit tricky. So now you can see our Mobius strip really only has one side. Let's see what happens when you cut it. So mark an X on the band and cut along until you reach where you started. So what do you think will happen when we cut it in half? But we're about to find out. And whoever thought that it was going to make one really big long strip, you were right. Anyone who thought it would split in two, I'm sorry, but let's see what happens when we cut it in half again. Something might surprise you. I wonder what's gonna happen. Drum roll, please. There you go. I just can't seem to hold this square properly. There we go. And ta-da, a square. I told you I could do magic.
Okay, Ray, what's the sign for cat?
Cat, like the whiskers.
Cat.
Yeah.
Dog?
Dog, like it's paws.
Dog as in like walking the dog?
Yeah.
If you had to choose one or the other, which would it be?
Definitely dog. Definitely.
No way, cats.
No.
I'm in Broken Hill, which is the perfect place to do some four-wheel driving. But everybody laughed when I said I'm going to bring my own car. Why's that? Oh, Stu, mate, I haven't seen you for ages. So jump in?
Jump in, brother, jump in.
Now, a car's a car, right? Any car can go four-wheel driving.
No.
Okay, right.
No. There's a big difference between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive.
And you're going to show me that?
And I'm going to show you that.
Let's do it. Belt up. Four-wheel drive means the power applied evenly in all the wheels so that they turn at the same speed. Now, what's the biggest difference between normal car driving and four-wheel driving?
Mate, the difference between four-wheel driving and normal car driving is it's in its name, obviously.
Yeah, right now I can feel it.
Four-wheel drive, as we're doing at the moment, we're obviously off-road.
Yeah. A bit bumpy.
A bit bumpy, a little bit more bigger rocks, I suppose. Less traction.
More potholes.
More potholes. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And a lot of it has to do with traction. Now, traction is the force that is caused when the moving thing sticks to the surface it's moving along. With a car driving along a road, for example, the traction is the gripping power of the tyres on the road surface. All cars need gripping power to be able to accelerate, move, turn, and even stop. But what makes Stuart's four-wheel drive so much better suited for off-roading than my two-wheel drive?
They're specifically designed to do this sort of stuff off-road, and a two-wheel drive car, you wouldn't even get off the dirt at the bottom of the end of the road here. We're roughly on two wheels now. The rear wheels are just lifted off the ground. You couldn't do that in a normal car.
No way. So how different is it driving on sand compared to a normal road like tarmac?
You've got less traction in sand, obviously, and the general rule of thumb, driving on sand, you let your tyres down.
Oh, so why do you actually let your tyres down?
A lot of people have the misconception of if I let my tyres down, it actually widens my tyre, but it actually doesn't. It actually lengthens your tyre, so it gives you a bigger footprint, so that gives you more traction.
Right, because there's more surface area on the sand.
That's exactly right.
Now, what would you say was one of the hardest parts about driving four-wheel drive?
The hardest part about driving four-wheel drive is just being aware of your environment, being aware of obstacles, and check your environment before, because you don't want to damage your vehicle, you don't want to obviously get yourself into strife.
Is it better to go faster or slower?
It's better to keep constant power, like we're doing now. We're probably doing about 10 kilometres an hour. The knack to it is keep on the pedal but don't over accelerate, because that's when your tyres will bite in and you'll bog yourself.
And what should you do if you get bogged? Like, what's the best way of getting out of a bog?
The best way of getting out of a bog is not to get bogged in the first place. Always carry recovery equipment. I've always got recovery equipment in the back of my vehicle. I've got a winch attached, and if you're going to be going off-road, you should always travel in pairs.
Okay, so I definitely don't think my little two-wheel drive is cut out for the outback. Stu, mate, that was so much fun, but I believe we should go for round 2.
I reckon we should. Let's go.
Let's do it.
It's a debate that has long divided the animal-loving community, a debate with history, well-argued points, and adorable evidence.
For too long, we've sat idly by and not weighed in, but not anymore. Nope, it's time.
That's right, we're talking cats versus dogs. But first, let's take to the street to see what you think.
I like cats better because dogs normally bark at me and sometimes they jump up onto me and like scrape me. Dogs, because when you throw a ball, they run and go get it. But cats don't, they just sit there. I think dogs are better because you can play around with them and they're fluffy and I like to walk them. Cats are better because they're fluffy and cute.
So as you can see, it's pretty evenly split. I think there's only one way to get to the bottom of this. It's going to be hard work and tough to manage, but we're going to have to do it.
You're right, I hoped it wouldn't come down to this. Look at them. They don't even know the chaos that they're causing.
Right, let's start with you, Maggot. Audrey, lay out the facts.
Right, it says here that cats don't really participate in science research, meaning how much do we really know about them? They'll actively ignore their owners despite hearing their voices. Maggot.
So sad.
And they're natural predators, so they do hunt local wildlife. There are some redeeming qualities though. They are quiet, they don't take up much space, so they're good for living in small apartments or smaller houses, and they don't need that much attention.
All good points. We need some time to think this through. In the meantime, it's your turn, Peanut. What do we have on this one?
Dogs can be pretty naughty. They can do silly things like chew up shoes.
No one's immune to a good shoe chew. What else?
They have heaps of energy, so they do need to be walked regularly. Also, they're pretty needy. They need lots and lots of affection. Hey, whatever happened to being objective?
She needed a hug.
What else do you have? Dogs are social animals, so they're easier to teach things to. Sit. Sit, Peanut. We also know a lot more about dogs because they participate more in studies.
So, like when you're sad, they know you need a hug.
Yeah, so we know they can read body language a lot better.
Exactly. All the information is in. It's time to decide. Who is more superior,
Cat or dog?
After reviewing the evidence, I've come to the conclusion both cats and dogs have good and bad qualities. You can't really decide which one's better than the other.
In the end, it comes down to personal preference and which animal best suits your home and lifestyle. Dogs require homes that have more time, energy, and space.
Cats are low maintenance and are good if you don't have a whole lot of space. Figure out which animal suits your lifestyle rather than trying to make the animal fit. You'll both be happier that way.
I'm here with Ray, who's teaching me some sign language, and this is the sign for cat. Meow?
That's the sign for dog.
Oh, okay. I obviously need more practice, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Is it true that when you sign, facial expression is really important? So how your eyebrows and how your mouth are positioned?
Yeah, totally, because in sign language, you can't shout or raise your voice like you do when you're speaking, so you have to use your body different ways. So it's more your full body rather than just your face. And also, your facial expressions will play such a big part, because if you want someone to smile, you'll be happier in your story, but if you want to show you're angry, it'll be, oh, big grumpy face. And that's how it works.
Awesome.
You'll want to stay up all night for this one. It's the perfect sleepover project, glow-in-the-dark slime. Let's make it. What you'll need is 1/3 cup of PVA glue, a heaped cup of shaving cream, 1/8 teaspoon of baking soda, glow-in-the-dark paint, 1 tablespoon of contact lens solution, a bowl and a mixing utensil. The first step is to mix all your wet ingredients together in the bowl. Add your baking soda and mix vigorously. Okay, it's time to knead it with your hands. This glow paint contains phosphors. A phosphor is a substance that is energized by the surrounding light. You won't see much in normal light, but you do need to charge it up with any light source. Think torches, lamps, or even the sun. So when you turn the lights off, the slime glows. Once it is energized, it radiates visible light. So it gives off a light, and that is the glow that we see. It can be energized by sunlight, which works really well on a clear day, or you can even use a torch on your smartphone. Check out what happens when I only charge 1/2 of the slime. The glow will dull after a while, but it can be recharged. Happy sliming!
I'm here with Ray, practicing my sign language skills, so...
Yes, well done, nailed it.
Thanks! So that's my name spelt out in sign letters. If you know someone for a long time in sign language, you can kind of come up with words for their names, can't you?
Yeah, so you get a thing called a sign name, which is a gesture based on your personality or who you are. Mine is, which means orange face.
That's the coolest name ever.
Hi, my name's Jessica. I am lucky enough to be one of the Eco Rangers here at Tangalooma on Morton Island in Queensland. So an average day for me starts with me feeding the Australian pelicans, normally up here on the jetty, feed them 10 to 15% of their daily intake. Then later on I will feed the kookaburras. And at night time, the dolphin feeding program starts, where I get to go out and feed our wild inshore bottlenose dolphins. Very simply, I have always had such a passion for looking after animals and a real interest in animal behaviour. So as soon as I started to travel Australia and I found Tangalooma and I seen this job, it really just looked like my perfect job, and it really is. I started working at the Wild Dolphin Feeding Programme, started to learn more and more about the animal behaviour, and then I became an Eco Ranger later on in my stay. Since I was at school, I've always enjoyed and had a real interest in all of the sciences, and then as I get older, I started to develop my knowledge of animal behaviour. The most important thing about my line of work is that you're learning every day through invaluable experiences. It's such a hands-on job, and you really need to be ready for anything that might happen. The best part of my job, I would have to say, is working with the wild dolphins every single night. And also getting to work on the island is a pretty good experience as well. I mean, how could you not love working here? One of the most amazing experiences that I've had here was actually one of our dolphins brought in a gift and left it at my feet. And this happened just 3 nights ago. With our pod of wild dolphins, sometimes they will actually bring in a large fish, usually with the head removed, and leave it at the feeder's feet. We take it out of the water to accept it from them, and that's a really special thing to see and a really special insight that we actually get to see within the pod. There is a lot of research done that actually indicates if it's a juvenile dolphin that brings in a large fish, they're perhaps in a playful mood, or they're even showing off what they've caught. Sometimes if it's a larger adult dolphin and they bring you in a gift, that can actually be an indication that they're very grateful. when people come to visit us at the centre, what I'm really hoping is they leave really inspired after seeing all of the information that we have in there, and even some of our educational wildlife talks, letting everyone know that it's their responsibility to look after the environment.
That's all for this episode of Get Clever. So Ray, how do we say bye?
Nice and simple. Bye.
Bye! Check out what's on next time.